Hey guys, Scott with Pitt Home Buyers here. So I just got off the phone with one of our clients that we're working with currently, and it's kind of like an update video. So basically they are going through a divorce. The way they found me is we actually have a little. You can see in the back there, PPP buys houses in the back of our car. That's how they actually heard about us. In fact, the divorced wife, her now husband, saw our sign, got us in contact, and we've been working with them ever since. Now, they have a portfolio of 9 properties, right? So they are previous investors, and the reason they needed us to help them and kind of get out of it was because they are all on one loan, and in the divorce, things can get sticky. So they're trying to, of course, basically break ties, which is completely understandable. So well, what we did is we actually, we worked with a investor who buys a lot of properties over there in the area. Their properties are spread out. They're in Winterville, North Carolina is one. There are, I think, 4 downtown that are in downtown Greenville, North Carolina. And there's another 2 of them in Farmville, North Carolina. And 2 more in the outskirts of Greenville, kind of over by Belvoir Highway and Peden's Grill. If you haven't eaten at Peden's Grill, by the way, it's good food. But anyway, so essentially where we're at now is we have the 2 trailers, all right, and this is something to take into consideration. When you have trailers, you need to always make sure when you're selling your trailer in Greenville, North Carolina, or anywhere or Pitt County, you want to get in touch with the NCDMV inspectors, which are actually over off of 10th Street in Greenville, North Carolina. They are actually in the State Trooper building, and you can get in contact with them out there. Inspector Overton and Inspector Wade are both fantastic, but we actually had to talk to them and say, hey, listen, with these 2 trailers, who owns the title? It turns out that the title was never, ever issued on these properties, which we found out later through the closing process that essentially these guys had bought it, delivered it to the property, and immediately deeded it to the land. So if you ever want to know if your property is deeded to the land, especially if you're selling your mobile home in Pitt County, Greenville, North Carolina, anywhere like that, then you need to make sure you know that the title is deeded, or if it's not. Because if it's not, you need to do a bill of sale at the NCDMV for the trailer and then close on the actual land. Okay, but that's neither here nor there. We did have to do some digging and have the inspectors come out for those, and right now, of the 9 properties, we're sitting with 1 more that's got a title issue. This one is actually off Bancroft Avenue in Greenville, North Carolina. It's downtown Western Greenville redevelopment area. And it's currently rented out, but essentially, so it turns out that the person who owned it back in '96 passed away, and there is nothing recorded about it being sold anywhere else, or like in any of the public record. So we have a gap in the title because the next thing that pops up is the current owner now is where the only thing that's showing is where they purchased it when it was in foreclosure from a couple of other guys who were investors at the time. So in other words, we don't know who owned it or from 96 up until 99 and how these guys came about owning it. So we're having to do some digging, we're having to do a lot of research, and so just making sure that when you are closing on a property, and this is something that if you work with a credible house buyer, then you are going to, yes, here. We're actually heading over to East Carolina University now to our little puppy Lexi here is a emotional support animal, a pet partner, so we're going to go hang out with the ECU students while they take their tests. But so making sure that all the documentation is correct and the attorney is getting everything under control is important. You might say, hey, why didn't you just call the attorney? We would have, but he's passed on too. So we don't really know anything about how they came into owning it. So I'll keep you up to date on this property. There are sometimes when we're looking to, when our team is looking to buy properties, it takes a little longer. All right, so we love to get those deals where we can just close them immediately, but sometimes it does take a little extra time just for title and things like that. But that's why we're here, is we help to work with you, educate you, and answer any questions that you have. So thanks so much for listening, guys. I will update you on this and hopefully get a testimonial from the sellers. That way you can kind of learn their story and their side of it as soon as we get done. But all right, have a great day. Talk to you soon.